be a federal court. You about to be charged for a body. Look at the body moving. She catching the body, y'all. She did it. Yeah, it was her. We stitching. We stitching.
What's Bonhand doing? Fixing his hair?
I haven't seen her for the morning. Well, you see where you get something from? That's on the site. It said, oh, these. That's the site.
look good. You advertising. Advertising. Go
I don't know for sure, but it could be.
Oh, wow.
Hey, look, he's stalking there. It's them. It's them. It does look like them. What's that?
There's like Quincy. They're in the street, so it's a light that's right behind you. Everybody's been watching the light. There's only two that goes by.
Well, I'm still here, but
Everybody's like, Quincy, get out. Say hi. Hi, Piper.
this is the Sprinter van that they usually pull up in. This is definitely them, because
I don't know.
that's their driver and stuff. So sometimes they either don't stop here because they have to go through.
Well, knock on the door. Like, no, what did I tell you guys? You did not let that get taken out.
If they don't stop here, they might stop at the other side. Well, there's something in the same Sprinter van every day. Like, it's not rocket science.
Oh shit! That deserved the shit. That deserved the shit, Mr. God damn, you did that? Excuse me, pardon my French. He just bashed him with a...
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, he just bashed him with
But I
a...
wasn't talking to you.
All right, well I said okay.
Okay, so
Who are you talking to?
B, y'all, we trying to get this footage. Listen, just forget it. Forget it, y'all. Just done. Just done.
Please calm down.
Yo, Dana, just done, bro. Just done. Y'all done.
He said sorry.
All right, so y'all good. We good.
I said oh shit at the end of the line. Oh, hold on. You gotta edit? My bad. Shite. Oh, shite. I forgot. I'm new to this.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to read the messages.
This is my first time.
You can't do nothing but laugh.
My fault.
You can't do nothing but laugh.
It's my first time.
Everybody hit the phone.
Recording.
This is my girl right
This is Pandora. Advertisement. And I'm just outside whistling while I work.
Always catch your spot, sir.
Well, I think the thing is,
And apparently, King Combs and Justin Combs and Mr. Quincy Combs and it is the CC Twins and the CC Chance will be edited.
Everybody can hear me clear, right? When the kids pop out,
Thanks.
you know what I'm saying? Don't say you ain't heard him and da 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 da. It might be the one day that, I mean, when they said some shit and it's on mute. Yeah. And please do. Better speak up, ever hold your peace. You hear me? All right. It'll be the one day Quincy, one of them says
What
something.
did they say? Make America great again?
Go on mute.
All right, well, so our president. Respect. Put some respect on the president's name. Nobody even says Mr. President anymore. Everybody says Trump. As if we didn't
Can't be talking about that man right now. I'm alive, bruh. Chill, leave that man be. He's the president already.
That's what I mean. Leave him be.
You act like you getting him out.
You act like you get out. Will you leave me alone, mister? I'm trying to get some good things.
Keep over there, brother. Keep over there.
I'm glad he didn't some faces got louder because he didn't think he did it. He saw damn well the barriers here. He saw the barriers, he saw the people lined up, and he decided to mosey on out. He should have went the other way. No, he should have. He should have. Because we didn't know they were going out. We didn't know they were going out. It's not like they were going out. The package is here. The precious cargo has arrived. It's not like they said they gave us a heads up.
Flight schedule.
This is not facing the right way.
That's inside information. Inside information. I didn't want to report yet. Look, coffee right there. I need to drink my coffee.
That is amazing.
Coffee like, Buddha, what happened to you, bro? Look at the coffee. Lonely, Buddha. You need.
Not cigar.
You need. Please.
If y'all say cigar again,
Got that just in case.
you see these nonsense? Steel toe? Timberland boat? That part. Then we hear carrots. Watch the carrots that pop out the bin.
John D.
And the sapphires. The tiny man. Orange. They're wearing orange. He's wearing orange.
You know what?
And orange over there. Maybe. Oh, Chanel. Now let's see the drip.
Anybody I look for, that was only if he's scared to say he's going to say free deal. He's done. Why is he scared? You're going to be out for real. If you think it's free Diddy, say free Diddy. Why
If you think it's free Diddy, do you believe it? Because you're making a mess.
Bro, whatever you feel, feel what you feel.
Say free Diddy.
Say it with your chest.
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 If you're a woman, say it with your other. Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
Free Diddy.
You don't go, y'all. You don't go. All right, here we go. Okay, yeah.
And then that happened.
Top of the morning, y'all. Top of the morning, y'all. Just the morning, y'all.
Text me. I ain't answered that. Look, still right there. My cameraman, I told him.
The same thing from yesterday. Just me, Justin, Christian. No girls. And Quincy's like Quincy is
I'm outside. These cameras is out here. I ain't got no lipstick, got no lip. Yeah. Hey, those radios. I gotta put about. I put 8 radios on. One of them will pick up, and then the CSO. Yeah, but I get every one of the CSO's transmissions. They blow me out of the air. I had a video that I posted. I got questions like this.
Channel 2, right?
That's why I was ready.
channel one is direct. That's like one with consensual, like it's point to point, like direct.
Oh, yeah.
Give that back.
You go on repeater, it bounces off like this.
See, I got everybody else all that.
This one,
All that. Look, I'm really probably the only guy that's gonna say, yo, shout out to the whole world. Everybody get it.
and unfortunately, whenever
If
South
I get
comes,
King
I always
Kong
get
to
it.
do it, only I'm the listen, I don't wanna take the credit to Jesus.
Oh, that's how I do
Oh,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
He did the incident report the other day. Bam.
King Kong's a little thing, you know, style like,
Said that.
you know, thing like that. This thumbnail is hot. You walking like the old Diddy. You got that Diddy vibe.
The other incident report. She had it.
You know, he walking like the old Diddy. Now I'm 60 something.
The one that you saw, man.
I don't know how to get it. I was back there. Listen though, y'all.
Okay, it's funny.
Right? Look, everybody else rock with me. Everybody get the lights up.
Not like inspectors.
The see the kids and all them off the rip. Stop. Like so.
I promised Ben
You don't have to run it in.
I was so frustrated. I
And I got the phone right here. Just so you don't get through. I got the bonus camera people need. All of it. Trust me, I'll be like,
I know. I'll send you today.
shot. I'm like,
Or pass on.
on the way, like, I'm in a buggy Benz. So I'm like, hold up, I got it. They're gonna stay right there, road. You in my shot. I'm like, all right, well, see, if Brian's still with us, I'm like, you know, you're the last, you know, yeah, hey.
So if I do
The
that,
white doctor, bro. What's going on? What's up,
them here together twice
What
during
you
the
say
day.
about it? That's how we rock.
So one guy's like, I don't know, I'm there. And the other guy's like, I gotta take a photo.
Whole world on. Last one.
I need some help.
Last one. That's what I said. God told you. Did you tell me, God? On your son, Jesus, on his sandals.
How we doing?
My dad? Drop 7 to check. You bought it 10 cents.
No, sure.
Jesus said Jesus was gonna go. You think I got the name for
I'm
Jesus?
working. That's
He was gonna go. They were trying to get Jesus the whole time. He was on happy feast the whole time. From a baby at the wall. He was running like a baby deer. Running. Try to change what happened. Right? Don't make this story because of Jesus. I'm like, no, bro, the same story as us. We live it.
I will not go now. I will.
Sin. Let me leave these. These are like, don't run down. Nah, I ain't inside yet, man. Nice, so shout out to y'all, man. Congratulations, man. That was nice, man. Or the company.
They got a wedding going on. They either just got married or about to get married. They are beautiful.
It's all like this. Look.
Look at that. King Kong.
Look, how she know? Look, how she know? I didn't say who. She said, who's doing that? King Kong, look.
I know. All right.
Who does that? King Kong? Look. She's been here from day one, so she knows why. Look.
That was nice. Listen, boys.
Son, straight.
Listen.
Great. That's how the man bought every day.
Listen.
This day he actually spent when this girl went up and did this, and Justin is smiling, Brother was smiling, the shit just triggered something. And that was not just all the other stuff. Huh?
Appreciate it all. That's what somebody else said. He said. That's what he said.
So,
There you go.
back up. Do y'all want to see another Data J Cooler on the go? Why believe that? That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Diddy's son. What? The man looks just like Diddy. Nah, dog. I'm surprised they ain't like him. They got to come in. Who you, Diddy? I'm young. No, you're not Diddy. Get your ass out here. Look, this is Diddy's twin, dog. This is insane. Let me tell you about Diddy. Genetics is crazy. You ain't just got to think about this travel. Bro, genetics is crazy. Look at this man, bro. Look. Look at the man, bro. Nah, I just saw it. The news are never publicized. They were being heckled by some people outside. They heckled them. And they moved from here and went to the other side. They went to the people that's heckled. Recorded and texted you the street. All that to bypass that. Oh my God! Brandon showed every block that goes this way. Anybody know what about the Chinese man? Duck sauce? Yeah? Soy sauce. Son, you like, you get that. Egg roll. Egg fouillon. General salt. She like this.
Sorry? My name is Brian Buckmeyer. I'm an ABC legal contributor and trial attorney. No problem.
Oh, okay, that's what we do. That's what we do now. Listen. And I know also, if you can't share with other content creators and you yourself, because that's what this is about sharing. And I'm trying to bring the coalition of content creators.
Frank comes out the door. Frank stands
I was the first to say this. What y'all heard about the big deal and it didn't happen. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to upload this footage. I am mutual that. Jay Bill is a good guy.
That's what I'm
Jay
saying.
is a very good guy. And once I
okay, that turns back and goes to my
other people, so you know,
So with that,
Fellas.
And they're walking away.
Nah, it's really not. You can't see it on camera. He looks smaller than it is when they see it. But it's up close, bro.
And if you see her in person, you don't understand why she's just thinking, oh,
Fuck Daddy Trout. Yeah, fuck Daddy. You know, fuck Daddy. Young Kong. Get it. Take that. Take that. Take that. Oh, take that. Take that. Take that. Oh, yeah. Uda go follow my YouTube channel. OOTA go follow. Come follow. Come.
And the bullshit, she makes sure the whole thing.
I got a Prince is fire. My Prince is on fire. What's Kaiser, that little homeboy? Dennis? He got some rest. She wanted to go to and then get them both back together. He like, nah, this nigga went all act like mom. She don't like mom, my grandma. That's my grandma for my niece. That's my mom for my grandma. They got them both together like this. She just wrong. He and her. Everybody gets like right now. Get that like what? Just like Talk Jesus, yeah. Talk Jesus. You already know, Ron. Talk Jesus.
And he said,
chairs right between those statues. You can get this in.
How we want that time to read, we can walk on it.
That's where like otherwise you go
Time to do it to you. And the dance is gonna make you lose your legs. Think like this. 30 years, you like this. Nigga, you like no noodle, nigga. You got no legs. You may be dragging you back to your son. Like my man Black. Like my man Black. What's up with that? They got no legs. One time, back in the time, right? There was, let's just say, in a place, which we allegedly, right? So there's a weed spot, right? Right? So the nigga is in it, whatever. Red, yeah. So yellow's in the spot, right? Out of town, right? Niggas run up in the spot. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy. He's your who's the boss.
That's not what she said.
So, niggas, this is on the first, I got to remember, this is on the first floor. First floor. Not like, so you from New York City, you might be thinking of a kid. It's not like that. It's like a,
and then another one.
it's like a two-family building. Two-family building. You know, like them little two-family houses. Like, like a little what is that? Go up, da da da. And you got the first floor, and you got the second floor, right? So the first floor window, I would come to the first floor window, and be like, yo, son, where you at? And he could give me something out the window right here. I'd be like, yo, give me something out the window. I'm gonna reach my hand right here in the window. Give me something like this, like. Right? You like that hand back out of the window. It's like this. So, right down in the middle.
What I've gained most from Harvard isn't just calculus or regression analysis. It's to sit with discomfort. Listen deeply and stay soft in hard times. Because if we still believe in a shared future, let us not forget those who we label as enemies, they too are human. In seeing their humanity, we find our own. In the end, we do not rise by proving each other wrong. We rise by refusing to let one another go. So, class of 2025, when the world feels stuck in spinning ghost mode, just remember, as we leave this campus, we carry everyone we've met across wealth and poverty, cities and villages, faith and doubt. They speak different languages and dream different dreams, and yet they've all become part of us. You may disagree with them, but hold on to them, as we are bound by something deeper than belief, our shared humanity. Congratulations, class of 2025. As I
These addresses by selected candidates for ordinary degrees being ended, the deans of the several departments will now present to the President and Fellows and to the Board of Overseers, in the favoring presence of family and friends here assembled, the candidates on whom the various academic distinctions are, with due ceremony, to be conferred. I now recognize the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences.
Mr. President, and fellows of Harvard College, Madam President, and members of the Board of Overseers, in the name of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences and by its authority, I have the honor to report on 4 groups of candidates who will be presented to you today. First, the Dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences will present candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and the degree of Master of the Arts. Next, the Dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences will present candidates for the Master of Science and the Master of Engineering. Then, the Dean of Continuing Education and University Extension will present candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Liberal Arts and Master of Liberal Arts in Extension Studies. Finally, near the close of these exercises, the seniors in Harvard College who are candidates candidates for the first degree in arts or in science will stand proudly before you. The candidates in each of these groups have, by the vote of the faculty, fulfilled requirements for the degrees for which they are severally recommended. I salute all of these individuals, trusting that they will forever wisely enjoy the freedom that their education has given them, while bearing the responsibilities that their learning demands of them. Each of these groups will now be introduced to you by the deans responsible for the programs in which they have been enrolled.
As Dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, I invite the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Mr. President and fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these scholars, all of whom have devoted themselves to the rigorous pursuit of advanced study and made original contributions to knowledge in their several fields of scholarship.
By virtue of the authority delegated to me in recognizing your high academic achievements, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, welcome you to the ancient and universal company of scholars, and entrust to you the free inquiry of future generations. Congratulations.
I now invite the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts from the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences to rise. Mr. President, fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, as Dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, I have the honor to present to you these candidates, all of whom have completed a commendable step of advanced study in their respective disciplines.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degree of Master of Arts and certify that you have surmounted with distinction an important stage of graduate study. Congratulations.
As Dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, I invite the candidates for the degree of Master of Science and Master of Engineering to rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates who have completed a commendable step of advanced study in engineering and applied sciences.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degree of Master of Science or Master of Engineering, and affirm that you stand ready to address societal challenges through foundational science with translational impact. Congratulations.
As Dean of Continuing Education and University Extension, I invite the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Liberal Arts and Master of Liberal Arts in Extension Studies to please rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the great honor to present to you these degree candidates who have demonstrated their ability, curiosity, and drive as purposeful students and scholars.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and recognize your commendable achievements as committed learners. Congratulations.
I now invite the responsible deans to continue the presentation of candidates for degrees.
Mr. President, Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President, members of the Board of Overseers. As Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, it is my honor to report today that two groups of candidates in the fields of medicine and dental medicine have fulfilled the faculty's requirements for the degrees for which they are represented. They will be introduced to you by the deans responsible for the programs in which they are enrolled.
As Dean of the School of Dental Medicine, I invite the degree candidates from the School of Dental Medicine to rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates who have devoted themselves to the study of dental medicine and to the improving of health and the quality of life.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare that you are ready for practice and research in a demanding branch of medicine. Congratulations.
As Dean of Medical Education, I invite the degree candidates from the medical school to rise. Mr. President, Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President, members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates who have dedicated themselves to the relief of human suffering and prepared themselves well for a life of learning and service in medicine.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare that you are ready to pursue and advance an honorable and merciful calling. Congratulations.
As Dean of the Divinity School, I invite the graduates from the Divinity School to please rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates who have completed programs of religious and theological studies in preparation for careers as leaders in scholarship and vocations of service.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare that you are well prepared to foster the health and vitality of communities of faith, to further scholarship in religious studies, and to help in shaping the shared values of the broader society. Congratulations.
As Interim Dean of the Faculty of Law, I invite the degree candidates from the law school to rise. Mr. President and fellows of Harvard College, Madam President, and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates, each of whom has completed a degree in legal studies towards the end of advancing justice and promoting the rule of law.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare that you are ready to aid in the shaping and application of those wise restraints that make us free. Congratulations.
As Dean of the Faculty of Business Administration, I invite the degree candidates from the business school to please rise. Mr. President and fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates who have mastered the study of business administration and prepared themselves to be leaders who will make a difference in the world.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and testify that you are ready to lead people and organizations in enterprises that will serve society. Congratulations.
Not yet. As Dean of the Faculty of Design, I invite the degree candidates from the Graduate School of Design to rise. And let me note that the GSD candidates are appropriately standing in front of the extraordinary Seaver Hall designed in 1878 by the renowned architect and Harvard alumnus, H.H. Richardson. Mr. President and fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the great honor to present to you these degree candidates who have pursued studies to imagine and construct a better world through research, planning, and design.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare your competence to lead in shaping the spaces in which we live. Congratulations.
As Dean of the School of the Faculty of Public Health, I invite the degree candidates from the School of Public Health to please rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the great honor to present to you these candidates who live qualified for a degree to provide leadership, advance knowledge, and improve the health of populations and communities.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare that you are well prepared to generate and utilize knowledge to improve health throughout the world. Congratulations.
As Dean of the Faculty of Education, I invite the degree candidates from the Graduate School of Education to please rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates who will change the world through education.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and declare that you are well prepared to guide and serve the learning needs of contemporary society. Congratulations.
As Dean of the Faculty of Government, I invite the degree candidates from the School of Government to rise. Mr. President and Fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the honor to present to you these degree candidates, each of whom has qualified to provide leadership in public service.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the degrees for which you have qualified and testify that you are well prepared to serve as public leaders and to improve public policy and administration throughout the world. Congratulations.
Inside us will lead the way on the
With deep appreciation for his years of devoted service, I now recognize the Dean of Harvard College.
As Dean of Harvard College, I invite the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science to rise. I recognize with special pride their chosen representatives and the candidates for those degrees summa cum laude. Mr. President and fellows of Harvard College, Madam President and members of the Board of Overseers, I have the great honor to present to you these candidates, each of whom has fulfilled the faculty's requirements for the first degree in arts or in science. Each candidate stands ready to advance knowledge, to promote understanding, and to serve society.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer on you the first degree in arts or in science and admit you to the fellowship of educated individuals. Congratulations. By virtue of authority delegated to me by the two governing boards, I now confer the following honorary degrees. The provost will introduce the candidates.
He led his high school basketball team, Power Memorial Academy, to 71 consecutive wins. He led his college team, UCLA, to 3 straight national titles. The first pick in the NBA draft, he led the Milwaukee Bucks to their first championship, and the Los Angeles Lakers to 5 more. He won a record 6 Most Valuable Player awards. He made the All-Star team a phenomenal 19 times. When he retired, he held the record as the NBA's all-time leading scorer, thanks largely to his signature skyhook. He hung up his size 16 sneakers in 1989, but he was far from finished. He turned his focus, as he put it, from success to significance. He is an author of more than 15 books. His subjects have included the Harlem Renaissance, the history of African American inventors, the lives of overlooked World War II heroes, and his experience coaching a White Mountain Apache high school basketball team, not to mention a series of mystery novels. His latest book, We All Want to Change the World, was published just 2 weeks ago. He has spoken and written widely on social and cultural issues, on faith and values, on race and justice. He has served as a U.S. Global Cultural Ambassador. Befitting his stardom in LA, he has acted in numerous movies and TV shows and written or produced several others. He created and championed the Skyhook Foundation, offering STEM-based outdoor learning experiences to thousands of school children. On receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom, he was praised as an American who illuminates both our most basic freedoms and our highest aspirations. We welcome an athlete, author, actor, and advocate of rare stature. Starting at center, number 33, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
A tower of power who propelled his teams to triumph, an avid proponent of pluralism's promise. The arc of his skyhook is long, but it bends toward justice. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Doctor of Laws.
Our next guest has combined a field-changing academic career with a fervent commitment to community service. She studied for her PhD at the University of California, Berkeley, where she wrote a path-breaking dissertation on Asian American literature. She recalls having had to transfer from the English department to the School of Education to finish her doctorate because there was so little scholarly regard at the time for Asian American literature. She served for decades on the Berkeley faculty. She was a leading force in the emergence of Asian American and ethnic studies. She has written or edited numerous books and articles about the experience of Asian Americans, her subjects ranging across literature, visual art, the work lives of women, the interplay of gender and nationalism, the life stories of Korean Americans, and more. She has written or produced several documentaries on topics including the representation of Asian women in American movies and television, the role of immigrants in the labor movement, and the aftermath of the 1992 Los Angeles riots. In parallel, she has invested herself deeply in the wider community. She is a co-founder of several vibrant social service organizations: Asian Women United, the Korean Community Center of the East Bay, and Asian Immigrant Women Advocates. As one admiring scholar wrote about her, "Without your work on Asian American literature, without your making waves and more waves, without your work on Asian American visual art, without your paving the way for others to come, not only in the academy, but also in society, the situation would be quite different. To a lot of people, you really made a difference." We honor Professor Elaine Kim.
path-marking scholar of Asian American lives, spanning literature and art, labor and gender, dynamic in devotion to building community. She sees that making waves can help raise the tide. Elaine H. Kim, Doctor of Laws.
Born in Paris, the daughter of a math professor and a pediatrician, she grew up with an eclectic set of heroes. Carl Friedrich Gauss, the great mathematician, Albert Schweitzer, the fabled physician, philosopher, and humanitarian, and Mother Teresa, the selfless servant of people in need. At age 20, she saw economics, in her words, as an elaborate hoax aimed at justifying keeping the world exactly as it was. But before long, she came to see economics as a powerful lever to make a positive change in the world. She soon emerged as an eminent development economist, focused on improving the lives of poor people worldwide. Her work, she says, takes root in the conviction that it is possible to make significant progress against poverty in the world by focusing on well-defined questions and being as rigorous as possible in answering those questions in the real world. With her colleague and spouse, Abhijit Banerjee, she has pursued a myriad of innovative field experiments to inform, assess, and improve policies aimed at alleviating poverty around the globe. She has co-founded and co-led the Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Lab, dedicated to reducing poverty by ensuring that policy is anchored in scientific evidence. Her work spans health, education, financial inclusion, the environment, and governance. She has achieved all this from an academic base just down the road at an institution universally recognized as the best university in the city of Cambridge, east of Central Square. We honor the Abdul Latif Jameel Professor of Poverty Alleviation and Development at MIT, the president of the Paris School of Economics, and a recipient of the 2019 Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences, Esther Duflo.
Devoted to easing the burdens of poverty with a wealth of ideas and experimental savvy, she personifies the ethos of a childhood hero. The greatest good is what we do for others. Esther Duflo, Doctor of Laws.
My job description, our next guest said, is to go to some of the most beautiful places on earth with great people, learn what nobody knows, and share that knowledge with others to help them do good things. It's a characteristically humble self-description from one of the world's most accomplished climate scientists. Personifying the power of great public universities, he is a graduate of Ohio State and the University of Wisconsin, and a longtime professor at Penn State. He has traveled frequently to Greenland, Antarctica, Alaska, and elsewhere to study the planet's massive sheets of ice. Analyzing annual rings within 2-mile deep cores of ice sheets formed in Greenland over many millennia, he has shown how Earth's climate has changed abruptly in the distant past, and he has shed new light on how climate and sea levels might change in the future. Honored with the National Medal of Science, he was a key participant in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that shared the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007. He introduced the concept of switches and dials that control the Earth's climate. He also has a special flair for explaining climate change to the broader public. His book, The 2-Mile Time Machine, and his work on the PBS series Earth, The Operator's Manual, have drawn widespread attention to our climate and energy challenges. He brings his own unflagging energy and optimism to his essential work. The drumbeat of bad news can be daunting, he says about climate science, but we work in a wonderful field, and the knowledge we produce really does help people live better. We honor one of the coolest scientists on Earth, Richard Alley.
A pioneer in probing Earth's paleoclimate, a guru in expounding glacial dynamics. He exerts a tectonic impact on how we understand our planet, extracting groundbreaking insights from his ice-breaking exploits. Richard B. Alley, Doctor of Science.
She was born in Puerto Rico. As a child, she moved to New York City with her mother aboard the densely crowded, storm-stricken SS Carabobo. Inspired by the actor Rita Hayworth, she dreamed of becoming a star. She started with dance lessons. She made her Broadway debut at 13. She dubbed children's voices in Spanish for American movies. In her 20s, she landed screen roles in Singin' in the Rain and The King and I. Her big breakthrough came in the 1961 movie version of West Side Story. Her iconic performance as Anita earned her an Oscar. She recalls that in an era when she had few role models in the arts world, she found that model in Anita, a Latina who radiated dignity, self-respect, and a zest for life. Over decades, she has become a role model herself for countless others. With her virtuosic talent as an actor, singer, and dancer, and with the vitality and grace that she continues to radiate after more than 3/4 of a century as a performing artist. She is among the few people who have attained the status of EGOT. winning Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards. Her Tony came for her performance as the flamboyant Googie Gomez in The Ritz. Her Grammy came for her starring role in The Electric Company, a beloved children's television series in the 70s. Her 2 Emmys came for performances on The Muppet Show and The Rockford Files. Her memorable roles have multiplied across the decades, as has her influence on aspiring artists with ambitious dreams. Well into her 80s, she starred as Abuelita Lydia in the acclaimed TV series One Day at a Time, and as a new nonagenarian, she delighted New England sports fans with her star turn in the 2023 movie, 80 for Brady. When I was a girl, she recalled, you could still get certain jobs if you didn't have a diploma, with hopes that the parchment we now present her will not damage her future prospects. We honor Rita Moreno.
From Anita to Abuelita, decade after decade, one role at a time, she has captivated audiences with her artistry and ardor. For all who aspire to achieve their dreams, she shows there's a place for us somewhere.
There's a place for us, somewhere a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us, somewhere a time for us, time together with time to spare, time to learn, time to care, someday. Somewhere.
Rita Moreno, Doctor of Arts.
We are very grateful to Carolyn Howe and Henry Wu for that very special tribute. Chekhov, Keats, Arthur Conan Doyle, William Carlos Williams. Our final honored guest carries forward the legacy of men of medicine who've had a special way with words. He was born in Ethiopia to parents of Indian descent. His early interest in medicine was kindled by reading books. In time, his practice of medicine spurred him to write them. He studied at Madras Medical College in India, trained in Tennessee, and spent 2 years at Boston City Hospital. As a young physician, he returned to Tennessee to care for ailing patients afflicted by the AIDS epidemic. That led to his first book, the vivid memoir, My Own Country. He honed his writing skills at the Iowa Writers Workshop. He spent years as a physician and professor in Texas before moving to Stanford, where he has been a provostial professor of medicine since 2007. In an era when technology is ascendant, he is renowned as a physician who embraces and elevates the human aspects of medicine. He urges a focus on the patient as a person, not just a set of test results or an image on a screen. He founded Stanford Medicine 25, a program that cultivates bedside exam skills, teaching that the essence of the diagnosis and healing lies in the hands-on approach. He also founded Presence, an interdisciplinary initiative to strengthen the human dimension in medical care. His accomplishments as a physician and a professor alone would make for a storied career. But his career is also storied in another sense. He wrote a second memoir, The Tennis Partner, telling the moving story of a close friend's struggles with drug addiction. And he has written 2 epic novels, both acclaimed bestsellers. Cutting for Stone follows a physician's journey from Ethiopia to America. The book, said one reviewer, is all about the giant things: family, love, war, home, land, life, death, exile, brotherhood, betrayal, and faith. These big things come to life through tiny, intimate, emotional moments that drive to the heart of all that we find most impossible to describe. His second novel, The Covenant of Water, unfolds the saga of a family in southwest India as they contend with an unsettling mystery. In each generation, at least one member has unexpectedly drowned. A reviewer called the book a magnificent feat, praising its crisp-taut pacing and the compassion that infuses every page. Our guest is the rare physician to have been honored with the National Humanities Medal, recognizing his efforts to emphasize empathy in medicine, as well as his imaginative renderings of the human drama. We honor and welcome Dr. Abraham Verghese.
an embodiment of empathy in the words and through his words. He exalts the sacred covenant between doctors and their patients and crafts compelling stories that bespeak his deep compassion. Abraham Verghese, Doctor of Humane Letters. In the name of this Society of Scholars, I declare that these persons are entitled to the rights and privileges pertaining to their several degrees, and that their names are to be forever borne on its roll of honorary members. It is now my privilege to invite one of our honored guests to address this assembly. Graduates, family members, colleagues, friends, let us welcome Dr. Abraham Verghese.
President Garber, members of the Harvard Corporation and the Board of Overseers, faculty, fellow honorands, and most of all, new graduates. Congratulations. What an incredibly gratifying moment this must be for you. And I know it's a very proud moment for your families. So how about we give a round of applause to your parents, your friends, your siblings, everyone who's here. I don't have to tell you that this is also an unprecedented moment for Harvard University. In this institution's almost 4-century existence, there has probably never been more attention focused on you than in these last few months, weeks, days. Honestly, in coming to your campus, I feel very much like a medieval messenger who had to sneak through the encircling forces and slip into your besieged community. So first, I bring you my felicitations to the graduates. No recent events can diminish what each of you has accomplished here. Graduates, I also want you to know you have the admiration and the good wishes of so many beyond Harvard. More people than you realize. More people than you realize are grateful More people than you realize are grateful to Harvard for the example it has set. By your willingness to look inward, to make painful and necessary changes, but then ultimately, by your clarity in affirming and courageously defending the essential values of this university, and indeed of this nation. A cascade of draconian government measures has already led to so much uncertainty, so much pain and suffering in this country and across the globe, and more has been threatened. The outrage you must feel, the outrage so many feel, also must surely lead us to a new appreciation. Appreciation for the rule of law and due process, which till now appreciation for the rule of law and due process, which till now we took for granted because this is America after all, and appreciation for those committed to truth, veritas, at a time when the absence of truth has come to feel almost normal. We find new appreciation of actions that demonstrate thoughtfulness, decency, generosity, kindness, humility, and service to community. I'm not Catholic, but I was so moved and inspired, as I'm sure many of you were, to hear those very qualities, humility, generosity, used repeatedly in describing the character of an American and Peruvian citizen, Robert Francis Prevost. The portrayal of this American, now Pope Leo XIV, the spiritual leader of 1.4 billion people, felt like a light after a dark stretch of time. Speaking about Catholicism, may I make a confession? When President Garber invited me to speak here, I was honored, of course, but I asked for some time to think about it because, believe me, I was well aware of the distinguished individuals who have spoken at this ceremony before. I felt you deserved to hear from a star or a Nobel Prize winner, or perhaps, God knows, from the Pope himself. Maybe next year, President Garber. But what made me eventually say yes to President Garber had everything to do with where we all find ourselves in 2025. When legal immigrants and others who are lawfully in this country, including so many of your international students, worry about being wrongly detained and even deported, perhaps it's fitting that you hear from an immigrant like me. Thank you. Perhaps it's fitting that you hear from someone who was born in Ethiopia when it was ruled by an emperor, someone who then lived under the harsh military leader who overthrew the emperor, someone who had at least one of his medical school classmates tortured and disappear, and who saw many other of his medical school classmates become guerrilla fighters fighting against the military dictator. Perhaps it's not so bad that you hear from someone like me who eventually completed his medical training in India just when Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, after facing Supreme Court judgments that she didn't care for, declared a national emergency and jailed thousands of students and all her opponents. When, in time, she called for an election, citizens in the world's largest democracy expressed their outrage by voting. She was ousted. It is perhaps also fitting that you should hear from someone who never had a prayer of coming to Harvard or an American university of this caliber for my education. Yet, I want to tell you, I had an excellent education in America all the same. I can bear witness to the dedicated efforts of professors, teachers at colleges, medical schools across this country, county and rural hospitals, veterans hospitals where I've worked, places you may not have heard of, but where nevertheless great patient care is delivered by physicians, many of whom are like me, trained outside of America. We were recruited here because American medical schools simply don't graduate sufficient numbers of physicians to fill the country's need. More than a quarter of the physicians in this country are foreign medical graduates. And many of those foreign physicians ultimately settle in places that others might not find as desirable. So a part of what makes America great, if I may use that phrase, is that it allows an immigrant like me to blossom here, just as generations of other immigrants and their children have flourished and contributed in every walk of life, working to keep America great. America also allowed this immigrant to find his voice as a writer. To quote the late novelist E.L. Doctorow, someone I admire and I got to know, he wrote, "It is the immigrant hordes who keep this country alive, the waves of them arriving year after year. Who believes in America more than the people who run down the gangplank and kiss the ground?" The greatness of America, the greatness of Harvard, is reflected in the fact that someone like me could be invited to speak to you. So thank you, Harvard. Thank you, President Garber. I am honored to be addressing you. As a child growing up in Ethiopia, without television until my teens, my notion of America came from the many extraordinary Americans who served in the Peace Corps. Those individuals left an impression of a country that was decent, generous, compassionate, not just to its own citizens, but to other nations. A more nuanced picture of America came from reading Ralph Ellison, Willa Cather, John Steinbeck, Hemingway, Mark Twain, and so many others in books that I checked out from the United States Information Services Library or the John F. Kennedy Library at my university in Addis Ababa. The novels conveyed a sense of an America that was far from perfect, but yet it seemed to me a nation striving to be so, striving to live up to the ideals expressed in its founding documents. Novels can teach you powerful lessons about life in a way that's very different from movies, because a novel is a collaborative venture. The writer provides the words, the reader provides their imagination, and somewhere in middle space, this fictional dream, this mental movie is created, and it's quite unique to each reader. In fact, my calling to medicine as a young teen came because of one novel, Of Human Bondage by Somerset Maugham, though the novel might not speak that way to anybody else. To paraphrase Camus, fiction is the great lie that tells the truth about how the world lives. When a novel speaks to you, it's because it rings true. The idea that now in America, a book that might speak to a young reader, reveal his or her calling, could be banned from their library by a school board or by government decree is beyond tragic. I know we will find our way back to displaying those attributes of America I admired from afar, the America I have known and loved from over 4 decades of being here, And it depends on all of you. Graduates, the commencement ritual obliges me to offer advice. Even though in 40 years of being a professor attending every graduation, I can remember very few things that were said. Nevertheless, it's just part of the ritual, and so I already snuck in one piece of advice, I don't know if you noticed, and that is to read novels. It's a trait of some of the best physicians and some of the best university leaders that I've met, including your president. I mean, your university president. An avid reader. And if you don't read fiction, my considered medical opinion is that a part of your brain responsible for active imagination atrophies. But that aside, I want to leave you with two other pieces of advice. By the way, I'm serious about that. Read fiction. I want to leave you with two other pieces of advice. One has to do with decisions, and the other with time. First, let me tell you about decisions. There's a writing dictum or aphorism that I just love about how to create a fictional character on the page. And it goes like this. Character is determined by decisions taken under pressure. A character is determined by decisions taken under pressure. You can build a fictional character by describing their appearance, their manner of speaking, their dress, etc. But the moment a character really leaps off the page is when you put them under pressure and they're forced to make a decision. Indeed, when one of my characters makes a decision that isn't one that I picked for them at a moment of crisis, they're usually right. And with that, they suddenly take on human flesh. They become incarnate. So I repeat, character is determined by decisions taken under pressure. And I wanted to share an anecdote that I think epitomizes for me this link between decisions and character. In 1974, in my third year of medical school in Ethiopia, my clinical year, the military overthrew the Emperor Haile Selassie. One of the first acts of the military leader, who became known as the Stalin of Africa, one of his first acts was to close the university and send the students to the countryside to educate the masses. This is almost a reflex of so-called strong men to attack the places where truth and reason prevail. As an expatriate, I had little choice but to leave. Among my medical school classmates who at that point went underground to join the guerrilla forces fighting against the Stalin of Africa was a brilliant student named Meles Zenawi. I have yet to meet a student as brilliant as Meles. Meles obviously gave up his career path to medicine, became a guerrilla fighter, rose to become the leader of the rebel group, fighting for 17 years until his troops finally succeeded in displacing the military dictator. He became prime minister for 3 terms, and to quote President Clinton, speaking about him, he was a new generation of African leader. One might disagree with many of his decisions, but in the village where Meles grew up, you cannot tell his mother's hut from the hut next to it. He never did anything to enrich himself. I returned to Ethiopia for the first time 2 decades after I left on a magazine assignment to interview the new Prime Minister, Meles. We sat in his very modest Prime Minister's office, a far cry from the gilded palace of his 2 predecessors, and we caught up. He talked about the tough decisions he had to make every day in a country that was ethnically divided, impoverished by a long civil war, and with the treasury looted by the former dictator. He shared with me something that I'll never forget. He said, during the long years of the guerrilla war, his forces could only move freely at night, but they had to cross fields sowed with Cuban and Russian mines. They would be forced to ask for a volunteer from among them, from among their own, to walk through the minefield to try and find a safe crossing. And so he said to me, in this office, I try to make sure that every decision I make is worthy of those comrades who gave their lives crossing those minefields so we could get to safety. On the walls of Harvard Memorial Church are inscribed the names of students and faculty who gave their lives in various conflicts. It will take many, many more walls to honor Harvard alumni and faculty who've served this nation in every discipline, not just the military, and who have done so in brave, exemplary, and transformative ways. In the past few weeks, in the face of immense pressure, Harvard, under President Garber's steady leadership, has been very visible for taking decisions worthy of your university's heritage, decisions that reveal and will shape this university's character. Graduates, the decisions you make in the future, when under pressure, will say something about your character, while they will also shape and transform you in unexpected ways. Make your decisions worthy of those who supported, nurtured, and sacrificed for you. Your parents, your partners, your family, your ancestors. Make the decisions worthy of this great university and the hardship it must endure going forward as it works to preserve the value of what you accomplished here. The second piece of advice I want to convey has to do with time. I trained in my specialty of infectious diseases here at the old Boston City Hospital, now the Boston Medical Center. I was here from 1983 to 85, just as AIDS, a disease of unknown cause, was appearing in large American cities, in our hospital wards, very much so in Boston City Hospital, elsewhere. And yet only at the end of 2 years of training was the cause of AIDS discovered, a virus we now call HIV. Just as I was moving to a small town in Tennessee, population 50,000, moving to a young medical school. Since AIDS was considered to be largely an urban condition, an urban disease, I was shocked in that small town to soon be seeing many more patients with HIV than anyone predicted for a population that size. The explanation for this, for these high numbers, turned out to be true of many other small towns in America. My patients were mostly gay men in their 30s and 40s, around my age at the time, and they were hometown boys who had left the town often after high school, just as so many had left in pursuit of jobs, education. But they were also leaving because they were gay and didn't want to live that lifestyle under the close scrutiny of their relatives and friends in the town. They settled in the big cities, found themselves, but tragically, years and decades into their stay, the virus found them. and they were now returning to their hometowns, to their families, typically because their partners had died and now they were getting ill. Given the prevailing sentiments against gay people in small towns in the rural South, I found myself pleasantly surprised to find my patients were so well received by their families. They were cared for lovingly to the end. You see, love trumps all bigotry. Love trumps ideology. When it's your child, when it's your family member who's affected, all that stuff just flies out the window. Now, effective treatment for HIV was still some years away, and so for me personally as a physician, it was heartbreaking to get to know these young men primarily so well and watch them gradually decline and die. These brave men taught me so much about quiet courage and about manhood, not the caricature of manliness, the posturing that has become so fashionable lately. They taught me, most importantly, about the value of time. You see, in their last days, they often wrestled with one question: what has been the meaning of my life? And thankfully, most of them, when they asked that question, what has been the meaning of my compressed life, most of them found the answer, and the answers were similar. They found that meaning at the end of their life, at the end of a shortened life, did not reside in fame, power, reputation, acquisitions, good looks. Instead, they found that meaning in their lives ultimately resided in the successful relationships that they had forged in a lifetime, particularly with parents, particularly with your family. Now, when my own country, my first book describing this small-town AIDS paradigm of migration came out, a reader, a mother whose son had just succumbed to AIDS, wrote to me, and she shared with me a letter that her son had written before he died and arranged for his mother to get a month after he died, when he hoped that her acute grief would have subsided. She gave me permission to use it, and I have used it unapologetically in other forms, but perhaps none as important as today, because his message bears repeating. It's also fitting that this advice that you're about to hear about time should come from someone beyond time. It should come not from me, but from those we all serve, and from someone who died when he was closer to your age than my age now. So here goes, letter from son to mother. Dear Mom, this last part of my life could have been very unpleasant, but it wasn't. In fact, in many ways, this has been the best part of my life. I've got to know my family again, a chance that very few people have or take advantage of. I enjoyed a life full of adventure and travel, and I loved every moment of it, but I probably never would have slowed down enough to really appreciate all of you if it hadn't been for my illness. That's the silver lining in this very dark cloud. I've had so full and satisfying a life that it seems almost tacky for me to express any regrets. Nevertheless, there are some things I wish I could have done. Number one, I'd love to have been mayor of Key West. And then he goes on with a laundry list of things I'm not going to read to you. I'll skip that, and he says, but when you get right down to it, Mother, I would have to live several hundred years to fulfill all the dreams I've had. I've done pretty well with the time allotted to me, and so I have no regrets. I feel sorry for people who die at whatever age, who haven't had the chance in life to fulfill some of their dreams. That's the real tragedy. Mom, if anyone ever asks you if I went to heaven, tell them this: I just came from there. No place could conceivably be as wonderful as where I've spent these last 30 years. I'll miss it. I'll miss you, Mother. I'm so glad we made good use of this time to get to know each other again. Graduates, you received and participated in an extraordinary education here at Harvard. As alumni, be its strength, be its support. Cherish this special day. And above all, make good use of your time. I wish you the very best.
Thank you, Dr. Verghese, for your inspiring words and for the privilege of your presence here today. Please rise as the commencement choir leads us in the singing of Fair Harvard. Please remain standing as the Pusey minister pronounces the benediction. The commencement exercises then being ended, the Sheriff of Middlesex County will declare the meeting adjourned. The audience is requested to remain in place until the platform party has recessed.
It is my privilege now to conclude our exercises with a blessing. In its ancient roots, blessing does not confer goodness, it honors it. Blessing does not make something good, it acknowledges what is already good. A blessing is not a spell of protection, it is an act of recognition. In its medieval roots, meanwhile, the word blessing carries a sense of woundedness. To be blessed means you have endured trials with courage, you have survived injury with integrity. Blessing honors you for who you are. It also bends its knee before all you have been through. Harvard class of 2025, you have been through so much. You have come to us from around the globe, and you have been through so much together. You have been through strife and grief and estrangement and uncertainty and upheaval, but you have also done so much good for us, so much good for one another, so much good for the world. No one is perfect, not even at Harvard, and not even you. But if Harvard accomplishes good for the world, it's because you do. If Harvard is great, it's because you are. It's because of you. Because you are a blessing. So on behalf of everyone who loves you, those crowding this Terracentenary Theater, and those who weren't able to travel or weren't able to get tickets onto the yard, let me now say, on all their behalf, bless you. Bless you for what you have been to one another and to us. Bless you for the good you have done for one another and for us. Now, I might stop there, but I can't, because you can't stop here either. The truth is, there is still so much good you need to do. The truth is, there are still so many trials you must face. The truth is, the world still needs your blessings, now more than ever. The world needs you. So I also bless you for all the good that you will do after you have left this yard. I also bless you for who you will become once you have passed outside these gates. You are a sight to behold. But beyond this yard, we on this stage see other things. We see a range of threats and dangers to our world, to this university, to many of you, to many of us. But between all of that and all of this, we see you. Between all of that and all of this, we see the good that you have done, and we see the good that you will do. Between all of that and all of this, we see who you have been, and we also see who you will become. Between all of that and all of this, we see you, and we've seen what you can do. Now go and do it. Harvard class of 2025, go in peace with all of our blessings. Amen.
As the High Sheriff of Middlesex County, I declare that the meeting will be adjourned.
you.